Welcome to round 13 of the GP4 OC 2020 season. We are here at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix, the 7th of 9 tracks that are on the OC calendar that featured on the revised 2020 F1 calendar. The longest circuit, of course, on the OC calendar, and despite the name, the track is actually not located in Spa, but most of the track is located in Francorchamps. We've had Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes winning 3 times here over the past 13 seasons, with BMW, Force India, McLaren and Williams all winning once, so we could we're going to have a different winner, and I'm hoping we can have someone different than all those teams, but I don't know if it will happen or not. 44 laps, of course, a circuit length of 7.004 kilometers, 20 corners. That record set, of course, last season by Laura Chung, a 143.260. Of course, previous 5 winners here have included Warner winning here twice in 2015 and 16, Joseph was 2017, Florian Vogel 2018, and Laura Chung in 2019. Now, of course, the last round at the Hungarian Grand Prix was dominated by home favourite Michalos Gal, who thoroughly deserved the victory, and I mean, the Mercedes just were not on his level at all, so we'll see if he can keep that momentum going into Spa. On your screen now is the free practice results, and it was no surprise the two Francos at the top, with Franco Lopez first and Franco Gamba second. However, in qualifying, the story was a bit different. Well, I say significantly different, as you'll see. It was Franco Gamba, that's not a surprise, being on pole position, beating Carl by just 30 thousandths of a second. That's the front row of the grid. On row 2, we have the two Hungarians, Michalos Gal and Roland Mojcik, separated again by just 9 thousandths of a second, so very close there as well. Row 3, Joseph Willows alongside him at Jake Galloway for Renault, so Willows continuing up his good form at the moment. Row 4 of the grid, we have George Rope for Racing Point and Laura Chung 8th for Ferrari. Now, one of the big surprises was this man, Jamie Griffiths 9th, with Roberto Gamba in 10th. However, Gamba was in Q2, and it was De Rosa 11th. Franco Lopez, there is the other big surprise right there. He was the man who went out in Q2 after the rain, no surprise, played fiddle with Evan Byrne and Chris Chatford, who was 9th but had the 5-place grid penalty from last time out in Hungary. David Kupok, 15th for AlphaTauri, and Daniel Fraser, 16th for Haas. Dudu Kirby, 17th for Haas, and Rosetta Martinez, 18th for Manor. That is row 9 of the grid. Row 10, we have the two Alfa Romeos of Gabriel Gomez and Andrea Federi. And on the last row of the grid, we have Felix Santos for Williams and Amelia Wilson for Manor. So it was a crazy qualifying with conditions playing their part, hence why the grid is a little bit scrambled this week. And 2 bits of GP4 OC news is that Evan Byrne will remain at Renault and Roland Mojcik will remain at Racing Point when they become Aston Martin for next season. So 2 bits of news, not really surprising. However, the thing that is surprising is the fact that this race is actually going to be a wet race. Would you believe it? 55% chance of rain, high cloud. We have not yet had a wet race this season. It has been 12 dry races, and that is how it will remain. 13th, the unlucky number. However, maybe for some it's lucky because it's going to be a wet race. So here we go. The 5 lights are on for the first wet race of the OC season. And the 5 lights are out, and we are underway. And who's going to get the jump into the first corner? It will most likely be Carr, because second place around Belgium always gets the better launch into the first corner. I mean, so as we see, Gamma has got the better launch off the line, but Carr will have the run around the outside, going to the first corner. And oh, there's a Renault that's off! There's a Renault that's gone heavily into the wall. I don't know who that is. There's a big crash already before we've even got to the first corner. There's a wheel that's going around turn 1, and has got further than some of the drivers. It looks like already we have had a big crash at La Source on the first lap. So what on earth has happened? And it looked like, from what I briefly saw, that the Renault had contact from behind, but as we see, Carr, no surprise, has taken the lead, but Gamma's got the run coming onto the Kemmel straight, and is he going to make the move straight away back for P1? Is Franco Gamma? He's on the inside. Is this going to be P1 already for Gamma? And yes, he retakes the lead very, very quickly. And so De Rosa is out, so that's one of the drivers who is out, so there's a Renault out as well. And so we need to see who else is out. Roberto Gamba, he is the other one that is out of this race. And so we need to see what the heck has happened at the first corner. And as we see, Evan Byrne it was, the other Renault driver. So 3 cars out at the first corner. And so we're about to find out how this has happened. So Byrne, who is in 13th position, and oh, it looks like the Haas there makes contact with Byrne, and then he gets hit and has got nowhere to go and goes right into the circuit, and somehow gets avoided by several cars, And so this was Roberto Gamba's view. As you see some of the cars going around. There's Griffiths who's going around. There's Chung. And unfortunately for Roberto Gamba, he can't avoid burn. And there's the McLaren there of De Rossa, who wasn't able to avoid that either. Meanwhile, Laura Chung is trying to get past Jimmy Griffiths, who's so far made a great start up to 7th place. And, well, 7th place it is no more as Laura Chung takes that away. And now Griffiths is going to be under pressure from George Roque as Gomez tries to go past the Haas there of Dudu Kirby, because it's Daniel Fraser, the one who went into Vern and then caused that chaos at the first corner. So already 3 cars out, and we've not even done the first lap. So that just proves how crazy the wet weather already throwing us a spectacular start. But meanwhile, Jimmy Griffiths, who has had a great start, unfortunately, the pace of that car is kind of back to reality. Really, he's struggling for pace. Laura Chung has already gotten by and got away. Now it's just George Roque in the Racing Point that is going to try and do the same as they're coming up towards the bus stop chicane, and Roque unable to make it stick through here. We usually see moves made into the bus stop chicane, not easy to overtake though. As we look now at my car, he's still sticking behind Franco Gamba, and so here's the battle then for the lower reaches of the top 10. The big gaggle of cars now coming up behind Griffiths. Meanwhile, Willows trying to get past Nicolas Gal there as he comes through the fast left-hander, flat out it is, coming through Blanchimont. And so he's going to try and have another go. Willows into the bus stop chicane. There's a little bit of contact there, but they get away just about. Willows almost pushing Gal through the bus stop chicane there, as I think that was Franco Gaba who's setting the best lap of the race. And bit of contact there as I think Q-Pot goes into the back of Roque. And meanwhile, I think Lopez is trying to go around the outside of Q-Pot, coming around the bus stop chicane, but I don't think he's able to do it. And no, Q-Pot just about holds on. So the yellow flag is still out at the moment. It looks like for Burns' car to get pushed away. So can't overtake here as the AlphaTauri there of Chatfield looking at Kirby, but is he going to back off because there's a yellow flag out still? And yes, he does. He thinks better of it and doesn't get a 5-second time penalty for overtaking under yellow flags. Roland Morch at the moment into 3rd. Jake Galloway up into 4th. He's made a great start. Willis trying to gain his position back up into P5. He's now on the inside of Gal. Can he make the move stick is the big question, and is answered, yes he can. So coming through into Lecom, and he makes the move for P5, so he's back into his starting position. But yeah, there we go. And we got another yellow flag out on another part of the circuit. I think, is that coming around? I think that's El Rouge, I think that is. And David Kupok is out. So David Kupok is out because Roque is nowhere to be seen. Lopez is up to 9th and Kirby's up to 10th. And oh my word, there's a huge accident onto the Camel Straight. Roque is involved, but he's still going. Sontag is out, and the other AlphaTauri of Chatfield seems to be out. So what on earth happened here? So Roque went wide, and wow! Roque went wide coming into El Rouge, and then got absolutely pile-driven by David Kupok. And how Roque has actually managed to get away without, well, he's got damage, but how he's not out of this race, Roque, I have no idea. This is the replay. So he was trying to get past Griffiths coming into El Rouge, and he went wide and then got hit so hard, and amazingly only lost his front and rear wing, but Kupok unfortunately had nowhere to go. So we're looking at Chatfield's point of view. He was coming through here, so he must have hit debris or something, and oh, look at that, he gets hits debris, and a huge crash there for Chris Chatfield. And the Alfa Romeo just about gets around that, and whew, that was a scary accident. So this was Sontag as well. He was coming through there with Chatfield's car, and does he hit? I think he just about maybe gets caught by Chatfield there. So very unlucky there for Felix Sontag. And then this is Gabriel Gomez, who's coming through, and does he hit anything? And oh yes, he does. He hits invisible debris. So Gabriel Gomez, who had just about gotten through that, unfortunately. He has got damage, so very unlucky for him. Meanwhile, Laura Chung on a mission right now, trying to get past Nicolas Gao, who is struggling at the moment in the Red Bull, and Chung takes 6th place away. So far, Laura Chung having a good start to the race, and again, at the moment, Carl's still sticking with Gamba, despite Gamba taking the lead back, so Gamba is not exactly getting away at this moment in time. And here is Carl, Speak of the Devil, who's right behind, and meanwhile, the battle for 3rd, as we saw in the background, is on between Moichin and Galloway for 3rd. So looking at now at Martinez trying to make a move past Griffiths. He's going to squeeze on the inside is Martinez, and he's made the move stick. So Griffiths now down to 12th position. He's really falling very, very quickly, and so far it is not looking good for Jamie Griffiths, having had such a good qualifying. But again, it's back to reality for him. Meanwhile, Carr all over the back of Franco Gamba like a rash at the moment, and he's going to try and make it through Blanchimont, but it's not going to work. So he's going to have to wait until the bus chicane. That's the next chance to make the move in the slipstream or the slash the spray. He's going to go look maybe at the inside. Is he? No. Gamba holds it off. There's a little bit of contact there. Maybe to try and unsettle Gamba, but he keeps Carr on the road. So Carr, Carr still unable to make it stick. So it's about to head on to lap 8 of the Grand Prix. Moichin and Galloway are a little bit in the distance. They're not too far off. They're not exactly dropped away either, but Galloway has been close behind Moichin ever since the start, really. So we could see about a third there. There's Willers in 5th. Chung might be closing, though, on him in 5th position. So now as we look at Andrea Federi, who's trying to pass Dudu Kirby, this is for 9th as they're coming through Blanchimont, now heading up towards the bus stop chicane, and we are going to see if move is made there. So meanwhile, Moichin, he's just about out of such range as Kirby has gone very deep there coming into the bus stop chicane. I don't know if there was contact behind from Federi, who is right behind him. And so Federi gets a decent exit off the bus stop. I wonder if he'll make a move into La Source. He's in the slipstream. He's going to go for it. And is Kirby going to block him off? Yes, Kirby does well. Defends very hard. Meanwhile, Federi's got to be careful because Martinez is closing up behind in the other manner as well. And so as they're coming up to Eau Rouge, I don't think Federi will make a move. He won't try and do what Roque did, because what Roque did caused an almighty pile-up or coming through is Kirby made a mistake there, and Federi does go through, and Kirby just blocks off Martinez from following him through as well. But Kirby making a fatal mistake coming through Eau Rouge. You can see here, just goes wide and then goes over the curb, but manages to just control it, and the Alfa Romeo very close hitting him, but then Martinez just gets blocked as he tried to sneak his way through as well. So Kirby was not going to let Martinez make his way through either. And oh no, Martinez has got a problem, and Martinez has got a mechanical problem, and he pulls off to the side of the circuit, and he is out of this race. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway is now in the pits for Renault for his first stop of the Grand Prix. So he's going to try and see if he can undercut Roland Moichin in 3rd. So we'll see if he is able to do that. So he makes the pit stop and now rejoins. It was about 6 seconds stop, that one. So again, not particularly about average, I guess you could say. Galloway now coming to the pit exit. So where did he come out? He comes up behind Galcut. Does come out in front of Lopez though. As meanwhile, Amelia Wilson trying on Griffiths, make contact into the chicane there, and they make it a little bit more contact, but no harm done. But again, Griffiths just really struggling. He must be on heavy fuel as well. It can't just simply be his pace is terrible. Meanwhile, Roland Moichin has caught up actually to the front 2 here of the Grand Prix. So we could see a 3-way battle. But this could be good news though for Jake Galloway as he's pitted, and as long as he isn't caught in any traffic, then you never know. Maybe he could even try and jump all 3 of these guys. But at the moment, Franco Gamba is holding his own out front, ahead of Carr, but now of course Moichin is closing up, and Moichin was a few seconds behind, and this explains why. So Gamba actually made a mistake, did exactly what Kirby did coming through Rouge, made a mistake and went wide, and fortunately Carr did briefly actually get ahead even of Gamba, but didn't have the momentum to stay in front, so he wasn't able to make the move stick. And here we are looking at Moichin as he's coming through the right hand, and Moichin's gone wide, he's gone off, and he's gone into the wall. And oh dear, Roland Moichin, he was in such a promising position, and now that he's been announced as a driver for next season, unfortunately he has just wrecked himself out of the Grand Prix. He'll be very frustrated with that, as meanwhile the battle for the lead still goes on. So it is Gamba still leading ahead of Carl second, and Joseph Willers now is in 3rd place at this moment in time. And so that we've had a number of cars actually that have retired from this race. We've got 15 cars left, so we've had 7 retirements, and we've only been going 10 laps. So we're looking now at this battle between the front 2 that is going on as they head towards Eau Rouge, and Gamba at the moment still leading this race. And so how much longer can he do it? Because he's taken the lead from Carr at the start. I should say he took the lead from Carr at the start, but he's not been able to get away, and Carr is sticking with him right now. And how much longer can he hold on is going to be the big question. And actually now with Roland Moichin out, we just realised we'll have 14 cars left in this race. So we've nearly half the field out. We've only been 10 laps this meal. We saw Wilson making a late move onto Griffiths coming into the bus-stop chicane there. So Griffiths again really struggling, and seemingly does not have any pace in this race. And I mean Gamba, who's got less fuel actually than Carr, quite a few more laps that Carr can go than Franco Gamba, but Gamba just doesn't seemingly have quite the pace of the Mercedes at the moment, as these two continually battle for P1. As Gamba goes a little bit wide there, Carr is going to be right behind, almost pushing him through the corners. So again, the next opportunity that Carr can do is try and make an overtake at the bus chicane. I mean, he can try through Blanchimont, but you don't see very many moves being made through Blanchimont. So he's in the slipstream of Franco Gamba is Carr, and he's going to look the inside, but he can't do it. So they're going to head up now towards the bus stop chicane, see if anything can be done there. And again, he's trying to get out of the spray, as you can't really see it, and he's going to try and look again on the inside, but Gamba has it as there's a bit more contact, and Carr really, oh my word, Carr really aggressive there into the bus stop chicane, and they're very lucky that neither of their two, Carr's front left and Gamba's rear right became detached from their car there. Very lucky indeed, but Carr becoming extremely aggressive now. He wants to get this move done. And so that we were looking actually briefly at the other Mercedes of Lopez at the moment, running further down the order. And oh, Gamba's off! Gamba has lost it, and as Carr has hit him, and Franco Gamba is out of the race. So Carr is still going, but he's lost his front wing, and that is going to allow, unbelievably, Joseph Willows to lead this race. And there he is. And so he's closely followed there by Laura Chung. But incredible, what a spectacular crash. Gamba made a mistake again coming through Origin, but this time it was more fatal. Lost control right in front of Carr, who had absolutely nowhere to go, and had to hit him. So there was Gamba. So he slid there, going through the first part, and he just about held it, but then he lost control, and Carr was coming right through, and he had absolutely nowhere to go. Did Armar Carr, and he hits Gamba. So Gamba eliminated. So I mean that's not Carr's fault at all. So Gamba gets hit, loses his front right, but then loses his rear right as well. So that is Franco Gamba. Wow, what an incredible start. And amazingly, as I said, it is Joseph Willows who currently leads this race, but Laura Chung is right behind him, and she's been gaining on him lap by lap. So, I mean, what a dramatic. We've only been 12 laps so far. We haven't even got through half. We've only got through about quarter distance. We've not even got through halfway yet. But Willows at the moment leads. He's got a lot of fuel in his car. I mean, Galloway actually in third though is in probably a favourable position at this moment in time because he's pitted. But as I said, at the moment Willows leads. Chung is in second. I mean, quite incredible so far this race. And I mean, how many cars are we going to have finish this race at this point if we've already had so many out? Dudu Kirby is in the pits meanwhile for Haas. So the order at the moment is Willows first, Chung in second, Galloway third, Lopez is in fourth, Gal is in fifth. That is the top 5 in this race, and Laura Chung again all over the back. So at the moment Carr is 6th, Paderi 7th, Wilson 8th, Griffiths 9th, Fraser back at the points in 10th. So Carr dropping down to 6th position, which again is not too bad. So Kirby having just pitted is 11th, Gomez is 12th, and Roque at the moment in last in 13th position. So 13 cars, but just over half the field still remaining in this race as Joseph Willows completes the 13th lap. We're now on to lap 14, and Galloway definitely is closing as Chung gets a little bit close to the back of Willows there, going through the La Source hairpin. That could have been that could have gone horribly wrong, and Chung was trying desperately to stop the car there to prevent a collision with Willows. Unfortunately she did. And Chung is going to go for it on the inside into the bus stop chicane. A late move by Laura Chung, and she's done it. And what a fantastic move that was. We've seen many people try moves into the bus stop and not make it work, but Chung has done it. And she now takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. I don't think Willows really saw that coming. She probably didn't think. I don't think he totally unexpected, I think, Willows was. He really didn't think that Chung would make that move, but she did. And so he had to swap to the left, and then Chung just went for it on the inside. Willows thought he had her covered off, but oh no, he didn't. And Chung takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, so wow. And of course, Galloway and Lopez are both going to be closing on these two as well. Chung has got lighter fuel as well than Willows. I think Willows is going to be going for the one stop. And speaking of Mercedes, here is Armar Carr, who's actually now trying to go past his teammate Lopez here. This is battle for P4, and Carr going to go from the inside. It's still side by side between the two Mercedes. They've got to be careful here because they've got a golden opportunity to get away from the rest of the pack, and it's still going to be side by side. And I think Carr, has he got it done around the outside? And yes, he has. Carr on fresher tyres goes around the outside of Lopez there. What a move. You don't see many moves around that part of the circuit. You certainly don't expect to see two of them coming through Poo on there side by side all the way until Campus. And so here we are looking at it again. So Carr went on the inside, and I was thinking, would Lopez back off? And no, they were still side by side coming through Poo and then heading towards turn 13, and I thought Lopez would have the inside, but round the outside in the wet, it actually sometimes can be offline better than being on the right line, and Carr has made the move stick. And actually now Laura Chung from the lead goes into the pits, so Willers will take the lead back again. Galloway in second, and of course I would say Lopez in third, but it will be Carr in third position. So Chung is now in the pits, and we'll see how long the stop will be for her. And so it's going to be a two strategy, so they're still sticking on, of course, the wet weather tyres, the blue tyres. Of course, there are inters available, and then of course we go to the dries. So of course the rain was supposed to be getting lighter as the race goes on, so I don't know if anyone will swap to the intermediate tyres, or even if there's a dry line appearing, if they'll switch to the dries. Meanwhile, Galloway now trying to overtake Willers for the lead of the race. He's on the inside, Galloway, and he's going to make it stick, so he passes Joseph Willers for P1 just as Armour Carr is getting there now. So Galloway needed to make that move because Carr is going to be on him very quickly, and we'll see how quickly it takes Carr to overtake Willers. He's not going to be able to do it here. But meanwhile, speaking of Mercedes, Franco Lopez now in the pits. So as we look now at Laura Chung, who is behind Migos Gao in the Red Bull. Now Carr is right behind Joseph Willows coming onto the Kemmel Straight, and this should be a fairly simple move for Armour Carr. He's on the inside, and is he going to be able to do it? He's sneaking there. He's going to go for it late, but he does make it up into second place. Now he'll go after current race leader Jake Galloway, currently leading this race. I mean, who would have thought before start of the season that Jake Galloway would have even won a race? And now he's and he has already in China, and now he's currently leading another one. And of course, let's not forget, he took that podium place in Austria's. Meanwhile, we just saw on your screen right there Laura Chung going past Miklos Gal for P4 there. So Chung is definitely one who is on a mission right now. There's George Rogan in 12th. There was a car in the pits. I think that was Amelia Wilson, who's just pitted. But I don't see Galloway being able to hold off Carr. We'll see how long he can hold him off for, but Carr has already caught up to the back of Galloway. So Galloway might have his work cut out here, as they're now coming through. Stavlo coming through to the last sector of the lap. All power and brakes of this one, so you just got to have your foot flat to the pedal for this part of it, and then into the bus stop. All about the brakes. As now Carr having a look at Galloway coming through Blanchimont, but he's not able to make it 6. They're now heading up towards the bus stop chicane. And can he make it on the inside? And oh, he's going to go for it. His car. There's contact between the two, but Galloway holds his line and keeps the position coming through the corner there, as they now go on to the front straight. And let's see, will Carr maybe go for it into La Source? He's got a good run. He's got the momentum. And so Galloway is going to try and defend as he looks to the inside, does Carr, but Galloway is not letting him go through very easily there. And oh, they somehow get away without making contact there. Very, very lucky, but Carr has definitely got the momentum. He's going to have the slipstream now. Galloway didn't get a particularly good run off of La Source. Carr surely isn't going to go for it through El Rouge. He's going to look, but thinks better of it, so he just needs to stick in the slipstream of Galloway coming onto the Kemmel Straight, and then he'll be able to pass him. And so he's going to go for it, is he? He's going to make a move on the inside of Jake Galloway for the lead of this race. Armour Carr, he's on the inside, and this should be a fairly simple move. And yes, Armour Carr takes lead away from Jake Galloway. And so yeah, change for the lead. Meanwhile, Lopez is also looking for another position. He's trying to get past Migdos Gal in the Red Bull. He's in the slipstream, and this should be a fairly simple move for Franco Lopez. He's already passed Gal before he even gets to the corner. So Lopez now makes it through up into P5. Migdos Gal just having kind of a bit of a lonely race, just not being able to do much, being a bit insignificant at this moment in time. As that Wilson was a little bit wide there, as he was looking at the back of Jamie Griffiths, and that could have gone wrong, and because she went on to the slight bit of the curb there, and the AstroTurf, so she could have lost it, but she kept it together. At the moment, movements, everyone has moved up the order apart from Gallows, dropped 3 positions. Fideri's moved up 13 places at this moment in time. As Wilson now looking at passing Griffiths here, and which she does so. Passes Griffiths with 12th, as Griffiths again just struggling, and I don't think Griffiths has pitted yet, so it's probably why he is so slow right now. But I don't think Gallows pitted either. That's why it explains why he's not on the pace too. But at the moment, Galloway in second, Willows is in third. So Willows in with a good shout of some points here. But at this moment in time, despite all this chaos, let's remind you, it is a Mercedes who is leading this race. Alma Carlini, but Galloway second, Willows in third, Chung in fourth, Lopez in fifth, as Roque trying to squeeze his way past Gabriel Gomez there, coming through Blanchemont. That was not going to work, so they're coming in towards the bust-up chicane. Is Roque going to try it on the inside? The answer is no. Gomez holds his line. Meanwhile, Daniel Fraser is in the pits for Haas for a stop. I don't know how many. Well, I think this is his first legit stop of the race, because of course he did make a pit stop on lap 1, but of course he was the one that caused all the chaos. Of course on lap 1, he was the one that caused Byrne to go into the wall, and then of course Roberto Gamba hitting Byrne's car, as well as yeah, it was just a chaotic start to this race, that is for sure. But as meanwhile we're looking at Laura Chung, who's having a look at Joseph Willows for third position here, but I think Willows is actually going into the pits, so that's good news for Chung. But of course that's the good news for Chung. Bad news for her is that she's got a Mercedes right behind, so that's not particularly what she would have wanted. As Willows again struggling to get off the corner, but Willows will finally be making his first pit stop of the race. I don't know if it will be just a one-stop for Willows or not. I think it would be a little bit early for a one-stop for Willows, but we'll see. But Lopez is right there as well, looking to take advantage of Chung being held up here as we're coming up to the bus of chicane. Chung having a look to the right, and needs to be careful because there's contact. They've all three of them have gone into each other there, and somehow no damage is done. Willows now jinks to the right and is in the pits. And so Lopez is now right behind Chung, but we're going to take a look at the replay of this again, and they're very, very lucky. It could have gone it could have been so much worse there. Contact made with all three, and Lopez again tried to have a look into the chicane, was unable to do it, and he still actually hasn't been able to make the move on Chung as they're heading up towards La Source. And Lopez on the inside, he's going to go for it. I think he is, and this is P4, so Lopez finally does make the move up. Chung down to P4, Lopez up into P3, so Lopez now on the podium, Mercedes 1 and 3 right now, so we'll see how quickly Lopez will be able to close up to Jake Galloway in front of him. Although Chung actually is still sticking to the back of the Mercedes. I wonder if Chung actually might even try and make a move back on the Mercedes here. Look at the momentum that she's getting from El Rouge, and is she going to have enough power coming into Le Com? I don't know, I'm not sure. She's going to give it a good go though. But no, Lopez does hold the position there, so Lopez doing a good job. Chung trying to get back. And how far is Lopez off Galloway? About 8 seconds. I mean, I imagine Lopez probably is going to close the gap. So we'll see how this goes over the next few laps. Meanwhile, Roque has finally passed, is going around the outside of Gomez onto the front straight. There is George Roque passing the Brazilian there, so good job there from him. And so Roque actually made a late move into the bus stop chicane. Gomez was not going to let it line down, but Roque kept the momentum around the outside and managed to get the position there. So meanwhile, this is Joseph Willows who's trying to go past Miklos Gau and the Red Bull here, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. And he's unable to do it, so he has to wait until front straight to possibly make a move. And here we go, and he gets actually good momentum off the corner. Actually, Willows gets a much better run off the corner. He's going to go clean around the outside of Miklos Gau there. Look at that. Gau got a terrible run off of the bus stop chicane there. Willows just steamed past him. So good job there from Joseph Willows, but for Miklos Gau, not what he would have, not ideal for him at all. As meanwhile, there's a bit of a battle there for the lower reaches of the top 10. So we've got Fraser, who's behind Gomez and Fideri. So Fraser right now in an Alfa Romeo sandwich. He's going to look at the back of Gomez here, but he's got to be careful because Fideri is there too. And as they're coming through Blanchemont, now heading up towards the bus stop chicane. And he's going to look, is he? Fraser's going to go for a late move into the bus stop chicane. and he's going to do it. Good job there from Daniel Fraser. And so Gomez gets mugged well and truly there. And Federi now might even try and go past Gomez down the front straight here. He's got a better run off the bust of chicane. Will he be able to do it? And I think so, unless Gomez holds it down the inside, which he might do. As Federi goes around the outside here. And Federi's, I think, is going to have the run off the corner. And yes, I think Federi's going to do it. So Gomez losing out 2 positions there. So good move originally by Fraser. And a good job there by Federi, as we're looking at Carr at the moment leading Lopez in third. Galloway way off Carr at this moment in time. But I think Lopez is going to be on the back of Galloway very soon. As we're looking now at the leader of this race, Amar Carr. Galloway 16 seconds off. And Carr's got one more stop to go. As Lopez already has caught up and passed Jake Galloway for second place. And wow, so that's just proving the pace of the 2 Mercedes. So despite all the chaos in this race at the moment, would you believe it? It is still a Mercedes now a Mercedes 1-2. And yes, we just saw George Roque actually, who's come into the pits on this lap, and so actually has Gabriel Gomez. Jamie Griffiths, I think, is finally now pitting this lap at long last. He's had a pretty torrid race. It's just fallen. He's now right at the back of the field. It's just been that slow. Williams coming back down to reality after a great qualifying. I suppose it was a good call as well. When you haven't watched the qualifying for Belgium, I think you should. It was Q2. It was fascinating. It was all about the tyres, because it was wet. But Galloway, all I'll say is watch Q2 of Spa. It was definitely one of the most fascinating qualifying sessions of the season. And that's the reason why Griffiths also got so high up the order. So he now comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. And of course he'll be going to the end. I wonder if, the rain has eased up, but still looking like on normal wet weather tyres, because we do have them, and of course we have the monsoon tyres. It looks like everyone at the moment is on, although a lot of them, I think the tyres are a little darker, so I think they're now actually going on to the normal wet. I think a lot of them are still on the extreme wets, but I think probably the normal wet is going to be the way to go. As we look at Laura Chung now on the back of Jake Galloway, coming through Rouge, heading on to the front straight. He's going to have a go on the inside of Galloway if she has the speed, which I don't know. And as she goes for it late, she's just sticking on the inside. Does she go for it? She tries, but Galloway just about holds on there. So good job. But can Laura Chung make a move as she comes up like She's got a good run, good momentum, but Galloway holds it on the inside there. And so as they come through the long kind of hairpin right-hander, now going through the no-name corner, heading towards Pouons. We've got another yellow flag out on the circuit, and it's Joseph Willows. Oh, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious, man. Joseph Willows, what can he do for a bit of luck? And he is out of the race with a puncture as well. So he was running in 5th place. He was having quite a solid race as well. And unfortunately, he is going to be getting nothing from this Grand Prix. And the puncture occurs as he comes onto the Kemmel straight there. So he'll be absolutely gutted that he's going to get nothing from this race. So that is another retirement. So we've now had half of the field retire from this race, as Laura Chung making a move on the inside of Jake Galloway for 3rd place, coming through the source hairpin. Good move there by Laura Chung. And so amazingly, so at the moment we've got Kirby on for his first points, and 6th. Fraser up there as well. Roque, you could say, fortunately back in the points now with, despite the fact, of course, he had that scare accident. How he got away with that accident, I don't know. But so, yep, that is now half the field. So we've got just 12 cars remaining in this race. So it has been some race so far in the GP4 OC. Only in the OC will we have as crazy races as this. But yeah, as we're looking now at your race leader, Amar Carr, who is set to come into the pits for his second and I think his final race. Dudu Kirby is in the pits as well. Gal has just made a stop too. There's several drivers coming in. And again, as I said, it doesn't look like it's raining anymore. The track still quite wet, but it's going to get drier. But I'm not sure how, if we'll have any chance of getting any dries before the end. I'm not sure. But as I said, the weather forecast did say it would get lighter as the race goes on. Maybe we'll see some intermediate tyres. Who knows? But as we look now at our car coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. So he changes all 4 tyres
Okay, no pressure.
onto the normal wets,
Just prepare yourself for the first
and he's going to go out of the pits. Pretty quick stop as well, 5.3 seconds, so good job there from the Mercedes crew. And so we're looking now at Laura Chung that we're running in a podium place, so car will come out in second on the circuit. I mean, Chung has just come across the lines, but I think, yep, car is definitely still going to be ahead, so that is important for him. So he comes out in second, Chung is in third, and she's pitting in a few laps as well. Galloway dropped quite a few seconds actually off of Chung, so doesn't seemingly have the pace, although Galloway actually is now pitting this lap, so it probably explains why he hasn't had the pace. But at the moment, Amelia Wilson on for her first points, Dudu Kirby on for his first points as well at the moment. Jamie Griffiths again, unfortunately, in last position, so you think Old 12th is still good, but it's not really when when it's last position in the race. But as we look now at Franco Lopez, your current race leader for the time being, and oh no, Daniel Fraser is off, and he who's on for his first point of the season, he is going to be getting nothing from this race either. So he goes into the wall, and he had a mechanical failure there because we just saw in his dash just as he went off the circuit. So Daniel Fraser, just not been his season really, and he is going to be getting no points. So his wait for his first point in the top tier goes on, and it was an engine failure that actually caused that retirement. So we're going to take a look at it again. So Fraser was running in 6th position. He had a few laps before his pitting, and he was having a pretty good race, you had to say. And yeah, so the engine failure occurred actually just coming out of Le Com, so it had been a sector before. But yeah, you really got a feel for Daniel Fraser, who was having a very good race and was set to be on for his first point. He was comfortably quicker than Dudu Kirby. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway now comes in for his last stop of the race, and so he'll change all 4 tyres. There we go, and so he'll go to the end, you would think. Oh no, actually, no, they're not. So no, they're not actually going to the end. I mean, I don't know why the Renault team have decided not to fuel Galloway to the end there. It's a little bit bizarre, but meanwhile, Franco Lopez comes in for his final, you would assume, his final stop of the race. But yeah, so as we look now at Lopez, who is coming in, as Armar Car actually sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:57.3. So as the tyres are now changed, so I looked at Lopez on the normal wets. So again, I don't know what Renault were really thinking there, deciding not to pit, deciding to pit Galloway again, as Armar Car sets another fastest lap of 1:56 this time. So he at the moment is on a roll. Laura Chung is now in for her final stop of the race as well, and so we'll see if she will go to the end, and you would assume she would, but just after the Galloway thing, it just seems a very bizarre situation. So Chung in, and yep, she will be going to the end. Quick stop as well, under 5 seconds as well, so good job there from Ferrari team, as Jamie Griffiths is in as well. So I wonder actually, I think Chung is still going to come out ahead of Jake Galloway. I think she's just coming through the end of the pit exit now, and yep, so Chung crucially does stay ahead of Jake Galloway, although it was fairly close though, another lap or two, and Galloway might have actually got out in front. Griffiths has made his stop. I think it was about 6.2, wasn't particularly quick. But at the moment, Armar Car is still your leader of this race, but again, it is at the moment a Mercedes 1-2, despite all of the chaos that has ensued. It is still a Mercedes 1-2, and again, only 11 cars that are still remaining in this race at this moment in time, and yeah, we've got 12 laps to go. So will all these 11 cars still make it to the end? That is the next $1 million question. That is the next question to be answered, as we're looking at for Dairy, who's coming into the pits this lap for his final stop of the race. And so let's look at the rest of the order. There was Dudu Kirby in 9th, Gomez in 10th. At the moment, Roke is actually in 7th. So Roke still in a points position, despite, of course, despite that. I mean, Roke can, if he gets a good amount of points out of this race, Roke can consider himself extremely lucky that he's got that, because yeah, like, I mean, that crash when he got hit and went into the wall, on another day he would have been out, but not today. But nonetheless, Videri comes out of the pits, although he's actually delayed quite a bit as he has to wait for the manor there coming into the pits, so that won't please Videri at all. And that was the manor of, I believe, that was Amelia Wilson, I think, who forced Kirby to wait a few more seconds than he would have wanted, and yes, it was. And so looking at Jamie Griffiths at the moment, running in last, in 11th position. And again, that's just not where you would have wanted. He's so close to points at this moment in time. I don't know if he's actually going to get it or not. So looking at George coming through, and always made a mistake. He's got a bit wide there. Whoa, and a good slide there. Good save. Roke treading a fine line there. That could have gone horribly wrong. Unfortunately, he manages to keep it on the circuit. And unlike Frecker Gamba, who made that mistake and then slid and got taken out by Carr, and of course that wasn't Carr's fault. But at this moment in time, speaking of Carr, it is Amar Carr who is leading the race. And no, Laura Chung has got a problem. No way! And Laura Chung has got a problem. Would you believe it? She was set to be on for 3rd place, and Jake Galloway, as you can see, has gone past her and is now up into 3rd. And you really got a feel for Laura Chung. She's done nothing wrong. She had such a good race. And she's got a lot of the lap left to do if she wants to get back to the pits. It is a throttle issue for her that is going to cause retirement. That is unless she can get to the pits, and so she's going to go around. But again, that's good news for Jake Galloway, though. He's going to have a comfortable 3rd position, because I mean, Miklas Gauss has been absolutely nowhere in this race. So as we're looking at Chung just trawling around, waiting to get back to the pits. She's trying her best to get back. Can she, is the big question. She hasn't got too long to go, but the car could go at any time. But I mean, if she gets back, she still will have a chance to get back out there and get some good points on the board. A podium is, of course, now out of the question for her. And so, as she's trying to go through, I mean, Gal is, I think Gal was quite far behind, actually. I'm not sure how far it was exactly. But Gal was quite far behind, as now we're looking at Chung. Can she make it back to the pits? The pits are right there. She's coming up to the bus stop chicane right now, and she's going quite slowly, and I think has the car gone on her, or is she still going to make it? And is she going to do it? And she spins. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway has actually set the fastest lap of the race, so he's doing quite well on those tyres. But Laura Chung, I think the throttle is causing major issues for her, and it's such a shame. The pits is right there. It just needs to go forward, put it into 1st gear, like the pit crew tells you to, and no, I don't think it wants to do it, and the throttle is really playing with Laura Chung right now. She goes into the wall heavily, loses her rear wing, and is that her done? And yes, it is. Oh dear, the pits were right there. All she needed to do was put it in 1st gear, and she would have gone forward in towards the pits. And oh dear me, and I mean, she was right there. She just going into it, and then she lost the car, just lost control completely, and spun there. But wow, and that is not. You really got to feel for Laura Chung having such a good race, and the car letting her down like that. And yeah, that's very, very unfortunate, really. And so, yep, and quite an interesting way as well to retire. I mean, she's lucky she didn't have anyone going down the track, heading up towards the bus stop there to run into her. Now that would have been quite something if that had happened, but fortunately it hadn't, so no other drivers involved in the process. But that means there's now just 10 cars remaining in this race, and so that is good news for Jamie Griffiths, is that as long as he can get to the end, or at least is classified towards the end, he will get his 1st points in the OC, which is great. At the moment, Dudu Kirby is set to get his 1st points, and Amelia Wilson as well, actually, set to get her 1st points of the season. And speaking of Haas, into the pits comes Dudu Kirby for his final stop of the race. And so, I mean, Fraser, of course, unfortunately retired with that engine failure. I mean, he's not had a bad race, Kirby. I mean, Fraser's just had has just had it slightly better than him, is the way you can say that. So Kirby now comes in, changes all 4 tyres, and we'll go back out onto the circuit. Meanwhile, we're looking at this battle. This is for P7. This is Amelia Wilson, who's on the back of Gabriel Gomez. This is the battle for P7. Amelia Wilson having a good, trying to get more points on the board, trying to get her 1st point of the season, and Wilson is through, up into 7th place. So Amelia Wilson really doing a good job managing to beat an Alfa Romeo. It's not an easy task, considering the fact the car she's got. So great job from Millie Wilson there. As long as she can get it to the end, she's now up into 7th position. As there is, looking at second place man, Franco Lopez, who is about 16 seconds or so off of Amar Khan, so I don't see him being able to get at Amar Khan for the win of this race. And yeah, I mean, Khan has done a good job. I mean, obviously had that scary encounter with Franco Gamba, but from there on in has had the pace and is set to win this Grand Prix. We've still got 4 laps to go though, and Jake Galloway actually as well, let's not remind you, set to take his 3rd podium of the season. Of course, he won in China, which shocked everyone, and then he took 3rd position in Austria, and of course he would have had 2nd if he hadn't hit Prix late on. He had that late battle with Joe Hurt to get 2nd. He wasn't able to, but he still had 3rd, and now set to take another podium at this moment in time is Jake Galloway, and the gap to Gal behind him quite large, well over 2 seconds. I mean, Gal has had a very, very lonely race, and oh no, Dudu Kirby has got a problem, and he's going to retire from this race. And coming up into the bus stop chicane, he pulls off to the side of the circuit. I mean, we're on lap 41, but I think he has been lapped. So it's going to be touch and go if he is going to be classified or not. But his car is broken down, so he's not going to make it over the line. You would think, I mean, the amount of time they got through, that would be enough to be classified. But we'll find out at the end of the race. But for Dudu Kirby, you really got a feel for him. He is not going to finish on track. And we will find out at the end of the race if he is able to make, if he is able to be classified. Because then, of course, that would be this would have been Kirby's first point of the season. So let's just hope at the end of the race when the results come in if he is classified or not. I mean, it seems to be close enough. I mean, it's past lap 40, but we'll see. Anyway. Looking at your race leader, Amar Khan, so that leaves actually at the moment just 9 cars on the circuit left to finish this race, and despite all that, it's going to be, it looks like, a Mercedes 1-2. Yeah, I mean, Khan had that battle throughout the first part of the race with Franco Gamba, and then Gamba, you could say, bottled it because he was leading, and yet got hit by Khan. Khan lost his front wing, managed to get it back, change all 4 tyres, and has never looked back from there. He was going to be the one to win this race, got past Galloway and a number of other drivers, and so it was his for the taking, really. I mean, Lopez was close, of course, thanks to that incident, but I think Khan would have probably won anyway, and the gap to Lopez about 14 seconds, so pretty comfortable, and it probably would have been even more comfortable. And I mean, who knows, I mean, if Franco Gamba had stayed in, we could have still seen that battle going on throughout the race, but nonetheless, I mean, it has been just a ridiculous Grand Prix. It has chaotic, cars crashing, lots of failures. Yeah, it's been a great, and of course it's all come with the fact that it has been wet, this race. That is the reason why we've seen all this chaos and all that has happened in this Grand Prix. But Amar Khan is the one who is going to come out on top of it, and he is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix. He comes around the bus chicane for the 44th and final time, and after a chaotic Belgian Grand Prix, Amar Khan is set to win here at Spa-Francorchamps, and he comes across the line. He is the winner here at Belgium, and in a time of still under an hour and a half, actually 1 hour and 27 minutes. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez will come across the line in second for a Mercedes 1-2. So despite all of that, still the Mercedes 1-2. Andrea Federi will take 6th place for Alfa Romeo. That's good from him. That's a good enough job from him. But Amelia Wilson, well done to her. She is set to take her first points of the season for Manor, and she comes across the line in 7th position. She'll be pretty chuffed with that one. Gabriel Gomez, again, I mean, kept it on track, I guess, but of course hit the debris early on, so he was a bit far down. But Jake Galloway takes yet another podium for Renault. What a debut season it has been for him. And also Jamie Griffiths as well is set to take his first points finish of the season for Williams. I mean, 9th place is you could say it's good, but it is last. But really struggled on the strategy that he was on, and he was, again, I mean, had so many more cars finished, he would have been nowhere near the points. But nonetheless, he kept it on the circuit, and is going to take his first points finish in the OC, so he'll be pretty happy about that, will the Welshman. So he now comes up towards the bust chicane for the final time, and he will take 9th place. He'll take 2 points on the board. I mean, the only bad news is that Amelia Wilson has managed to get more than him. So aside from that, still first points on the board for Jamie Griffiths, so well done to him. Miklas Gau across the line in P4. Just, I mean, where was he the entire race? He was just in hiding. We never really saw him that much. He was mostly getting overtaken. Just didn't really have the pace today. But George Roke, meanwhile, will come across the line in P5. So despite that scary accident, how he managed to survive that accident, which I'll never know, got hit. It must have been at least probably 160 miles an hour by Kupok and went into the other wall, but still survived. So Roke can consider himself very lucky to still be on the track. But that is your race over. So we'll take a look at the final race results. So Amakar winning ahead of Frank Lover second, Jake Galloway third, Miklas Gau fourth, and George Roke actually, will remind you, still somehow finished on the lead lap as well. With the rest of the finishing order as follows: Andrea Federi, Amelia Wilson, Gabriel Gomez, and Jamie Griffiths won that down. So Dudu Kirby was not classified, so he didn't make it, and unfortunately no points for Dudu Kirby. Oh, you really got to feel sorry for him. You really, really do. And here's the rest of the order. All the finishers, well, or not all the finishers, all the finishers who did not make it. They started but did not make it, and it was actually Jake Galloway who set the fastest lap in the end, so he will get the extra point as well on the board. Meanwhile, in the driver's standings, Franco Lopez leading ahead of Amakar by 50 points. So not 50 points, by 45 points I should say. Gao in third, Roke in fourth, Gamba Galloway moving ahead of Moyton actually into 6th position. Andrea Federi moving into 11th place ahead of a number of hard drivers, moving ahead of Kupok, Gamba and Chris Chatfield, and Joseph was still in 15th position as well. Gabriel Gomez 16th, Felix Sontag 17th, Amelia Wilson moving ahead of Jamie Griffiths into 18th position, Griffiths in 19th, with Joseph Masters 20th, Dudu Kobe 21st. I mean, you really got to feel sorry for him. The fact that he just didn't quite make it to get to the points. You really got to feel for him. Mercedes still, I mean, nearly a 200-point gap it is. Mercedes to Red Bull at the top. Racing Point relatively comfortable in third, Renault fourth, McLaren in fifth, just 20 points ahead of Ferrari, who themselves are 8 points ahead of AlphaTauri, who themselves are 6 points ahead of Alfa Romeo, so it's quite tight actually in the mid-pack. But Amelia Wilson gets voted as the driver of the day, so I think very much deserved, so well done to her. And there we go, that was a crazy Belgian Grand Prix. Will he get more chaotic at the Italian Grand Prix? I have no idea, but thanks for watching everybody. Don't forget to, as usual, give the video a like, check out our Discord, join our Discord, check out our Wikia, check out our Twitter. Thanks for watching everybody. I will see you for the next round of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Thanks for watching everyone, and we will see you there.